In this video, I'm going to tell you the main difference, the main trait that makes the difference between a real man and an adult boy, between a so-called alpha and a so-called beta. But not gonna just tell you the secret. I'm not gonna tell you the trait because I want you to find out yourself. So I'm gonna explain to you 4 stories that happened to me, of a friend of me, and then I want you to find what is the underlying current in all those stories that made us act like little boys. In the first story, I was together with a new woman, and it was the first time I met her, and she was stunning. Her eyes pierced me. She was incredibly attractive to me. She was like a gypsy goddess, you know. And well, yeah, we started playing, but she was pretty dominant. Then she wanted me to, well, take her and take her heart. And so, well, I did, but then at a certain moment I felt I had a hard time to stay in control. I didn't want it to end yet, so I slowed down. But she clearly did not want that, and so she started bumping her ass up to me. And instead of saying to her, calm down, baby, I want to enjoy you, I want to feel you, I shut up because I was afraid she was gonna reject me. But then I ejaculated, and of course, then she turned around and I could see the disappointment in her eyes. Because in that moment, to her, I was not a man. I was a boy that could not control his own cock. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I know a lot of men can. Now, let's go to the second story. In the second story, I was at the beach. It was a beautiful day. I was there with my girlfriend and a bunch of our friends that we knew from dancing. Yes, I dance. But what happened was the night before I met a girl on the dance floor, and we really hit it off. We had this chemistry, and she was a pretty Spanish girl with blonde curls. And at the moment that she passed me, she said hi, and I said hi to her too. But it was, of course, immediately clear to my mind, because I'm not very subtle, that there was something going on. There was chemistry. And in that moment, my girl just took her things, walked up, and went to our apartment. So I went behind her, and I said, like, what are you doing? And she became so angry. She started to swear at me, be angry, and I became angry too. I said, I told you that I was open. I told you I had an open mind. I was polyamorous. And of course, this made her more angry. And I became more angry. And so we had a real full-blown fight. And then she started to cry. And then my anger disappeared just like that. And then I started to feel guilty. Like, am I so bad? Is it so bad? And in that moment, I lost the confidence in the way I was looking at the world. It was as if I made her worldview more important than my worldview. And that was the start of a very tumultuous period in which quite frankly I tried to calm her down. I tried to make her feel that I was not rejecting her by being attracted to other women, that I was just a man that loves multiple women. But because I acted in such an apologetic way, because I gave her excuses why I was attracted to this lady, instead of just taking responsibility and saying, yes, I was attracted to this lady, I stimulated her painful emotions and her rightfulness to act in such a way. Now, the third story The third story did not happen to me, but to a good friend of me. And it is about jealousy. So my friend was a real alpha. Well, at least that's how he looked at himself. He was a good fighter, and if somebody trespassed his boundaries, he solved it by his fists. And so in a certain moment, he saw his woman, his girlfriend, talk to a guy. And this guy, I have to be honest, I was there, he looked good. He was tall, he had like a bit a half brown skin, beautiful powerful eyes, strong masculine chin. He was even more alpha than he looked. Well, at least that's how he looked. And in a certain moment, this guy came closer and closer and closer to my friend's girlfriend, and so he started to become angry. And I tried to distract him, but he was always looking over my shoulder to this guy. And at a certain moment, this guy leaned over and kissed her in the neck. And in that moment, something snapped in my friend. And so he took a bottle, he ran over, smashed me in the head, and started kicking him. And I ran over to pull him down, but he pushed me away. And in that moment, a bouncer just took him by the sleeve, he was giant by the way, and threw him out on the pavement. And after that, his girlfriend ran out and said, "Why did you do that? That was John, my old-time friend. It's my oldest friend. Why would you do such a thing?" My friend, he did not even feel guilty. He was still very angry, still in full jealousy. It's like, he had no right to kiss you in the neck. You are mine. And in that moment, the girl said, "No, no, no, you're not mine. I'm not yours at all. I'm for myself. And that was my best friend. I don't want to see you anymore." And by listening to his fear that he would lose her, he chased her away. The last story was me again. So at a certain moment I was going with one of my girlfriends to the city, and I took the cab. And we asked them how much it would be, and it would be more or less 20 bucks. So we went to it, and then we arrived, and then it was 50 bucks. And I was like, "What?" "Yeah, man, I didn't calculate in the construction that I was on the road, so I had to make a big detour. And you see, it is 50 bucks because, yeah, that's what the counter says." I said, "No, that's not right. We agreed that it would be 20 bucks, at most 25 bucks. Like 50 bucks, that's double. Are you crazy?" And so we kept on discussing, and I could see my girl became really irritated. So I said, "Step out and I will solve it." And so she stepped out, and I was keeping discussing this guy, and I told him, "I will not pay you 50 bucks. That's theft. From from my city to the city, it's like a 20-minute drive. Are you kidding me?" And then he just picked up his phone, man, and he started saying, "Okay, I will call the police." And in that moment, because I had promised my father when before he died that I would never do something illegal, I paid him. I said, "You are very unprofessional." And I walked out, and I could see deep, deep, deep disappointment in my girl's eyes, because in that moment I proved to her that I could not stand up for my own and her rights. And so she whistles over another cab and she says goodbye, and she disappeared out of my life. So now, when you take those four stories, can you see the common denominator? Can you see what is the trait that, well, made me and my friend act like little boys? Well, to me it's very clear. The trait that separates my boyish behaviors from real man behaviors, alpha behaviors, is our capacity to stay strong under intensity, under high intensity situations. The capacity to stay in control over my behavior, to act like I would like to act in situations where it's not so easy to act in strong, uncompromising, and unapologetic ways. So, how can you develop it? Well, to me, one of the best ways is to do a high intensity sport. Like, for example, go snowboarding, like fighting, because I was a pro fighter. And I say, "Yeah, but you're a pro fighter, but you told me just that those stories were about you." Yes, because I did it in the wrong way. So when you do such a high intensity sport, it's very important that you integrate this in yourself, that you realize that you as a sporter, you as a fighter, for example, are the same person as you as a lover, as you uh, as a person that whose boundaries is getting trespassed, and so that you will act in a similar way, in an unapologetic way. You will defend your rights. And so, what would be better behaviors to do? Well, in the first situation, it's better to just calm her down, pin her down, whisper in her ear, "Baby, I want to feel you. I want to really enjoy you to the fullest. And if we keep banging, I will not be able to control myself because you make me just too absolutely excited, too attracted. So slow down." That's a possibility. In the second situation, well, because it depends. Like, if you really believe that looking to another woman when you are sitting with your woman uh, is very, well, is disruptive, is not done, then you say, I'm sorry that I made you feel like that. I did this behavior. I have no excuse for it. It is my responsibility. And I understand that you're angry. You have a good right. But if you believe that attraction to other women is not at all a rejection of your own, and if you can do it in a way that does not make her feel rejected, for example, if you say hi and you immediately look at your girl and you wink at her, when she knows you're open-minded, you have an open sexual, well, value system, then it's much more powerful and it's much more hurtful, much less hurtful for a woman if she is acknowledged, if she sees that she's not just disappearing when somebody else enters your life. Then, and the third situation, to handle anger, it would be much more powerful to just walk up to them when they're talking, introduce yourself, and then start to lead the conversation. And how do you lead a conversation? Well, quite simple. You start asking questions. You say, for example, man, you're so buffed. What do you do for sports? And in doing so, you introduce yourself in a calm, but unapologetic way. You just walk up to him and you are not in defensive mode. You're just in let's connect mode. And that's really, really powerful. Then, the last situation, well, quite frankly, you just don't pay. Because he trespassed your boundaries, you had a verbal agreement, and, he trespassed that. So, then let the police come, and then you will handle it when the police is there. Because, quite frankly, you were in your right. But it's not so easy. So you have to learn how to handle those difficult tasks. You have to learn how to handle that intensity. And why is it hard? Because, well, when the emotions run high, when the shit hits the fan, or when the pleasure goes too high, your sympathetic, your fight or flight response, your sympathetic nervous system switches on, and what happens is that your conscious brain gets suppressed. Because, well, when you're faced with a line, you have to react immediately. So what to do? Well, I'm gonna give you in this video one technique that works very well. And it's just, you take a very deep breath. So what you do, you take a very deep breath in, you hold your breath for a second, and then you breathe out, and you imagine your muscles melting. The tension, the stress flows out of your muscles. And by doing so, you are awakening your parasympathetic, your relaxation system a bit. But because you're in a high stress situation, of course your adrenaline and cortisol levels are so high that you will stay, well, pretty stressed. But by just doing this thing, by taking that deep conscious breath, you make a pause. And by doing the pause, in that pause you can take back control. You can stop your habitual patterns of flight, fight, or freeze, and you can say, okay, in this situation, with the factors that I know, how would I want to react? What to me is the reaction that fits with the kind of guy that I want to be, and then do it. Now, I want you to try this out in a few situations, and try out in just situations that are a little bit irritating, so you can learn how to heighten the tension and heighten your control, your ability to control yourself under higher and higher situations. And if in certain moments this is not enough for you, you can contact me through the link below, and then we will, in a breakthrough call, we will see why it is that you cannot handle intensity, that you lose control of your behaviors in your love, sex, or general life.